Hello friends, welcome to this video. In this video we are going to discuss some software testing questions and answers. You can also call it QA questions and answers. These questions are for manual testing and this is part 1, and this video has 10 questions and answers. I have taken these questions from my webpage technicalpage.net. Let's begin. The first question is, what is black box and the white box testing? The black box testing is the testing of the application or product in which we do not test the backend or internal structure or the code or the database. We test only front end in the black box testing. White box testing. It is a testing of the application or product in which we test the backend, internal structure or the code, and we test database also. Okay, so in black box testing we test the front end only, but whereas in white box testing we test the front end as well as the back end, database, internal structure and the code. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What is software testing lifecycle? A software testing lifecycle is the steps from the beginning to the end of the testing. It involves below steps. On the first step, we gather the requirements and we analyze the requirements. In the second step, we create test plans. In the third step, we create test cases. In the fourth step, we set up and configure test environment. In the fifth step, we execute the test, and the last step is closing the test cycle. So this is software testing life cycle. This is also called STLC. Let's move on to the next question. What is a test case? A test case is a testing artifact that has the testing steps, testing data, precondition, status pass or fail, or there could be other status also like blocked, on hold, and similarly we can also add in progress. Okay, so these are the different test status like pass, fail, blocked, on hold, in progress, and according to your need you can have other status also. Actual result, in which we mention whatever test result we are getting, and the expected result, in which we mention whatever result we expect. Okay, and there will be a lot of other things also like the version, the build, the environment, the sprint. There are a lot of things can be included in the test case. The test case shows whether the functionality being tested satisfied the software requirement or not. Our test case covers certain functionality, and at the end of the test case execution it shows whether the functionality was pass or fail or what happened to the functionality. And you can have one test case or more than one test cases to test certain functionalities. And the main thing we have to remember is we can write one test case or more than one test cases, but the functionality should be covered 100%. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What is a test plan? A test plan is a document that has a detailed picture of the testing activities to be included in the testing. Okay, it has the objectives, schedule, scope, dependencies, entry exit criteria, pass fail criteria, resources, and other information related to the testing to be carried out to deliver a quality product. So other information could be approval criteria. The approval criteria is also called sign-off criteria. Okay, any risks involved with it and the mitigation plan for that. Okay, and any other things which could be technical, non-technical, or based on the past experience. So many things are involved, and we mention those things in the test plan. Let's move on to the next question. What is non-functional testing? The testing which does not include testing of functionality is non-functional testing, such as performance testing, load testing, security testing, usability testing, etc. Similarly, the testing of documents, requirements, environment, whether the environment is ready or not, network, user access, like if the user has access to the environment or not, user has access to the application or not. So these are some examples of non-functional testing. Okay. What is load testing? It is a testing to find out the product or software's threshold point or limitation. In this, the load is increased to test how much load a software or product can handle or manage before it breaks. In a practical situation, a number of virtual users are created, and those virtual users access the application concurrently. This test determines whether the application remains stable or not under the actual load conditions. Let's move on to the next question. What is stress testing? It is a testing to find out how the application or software behaves when the load is increased up to the breaking point or the load crosses the threshold. So threshold means breaking point. Okay. This testing is done to check the application's response in the abnormal conditions. We check when the system reaches the breaking point, does it show the right error message or not? Does it recover after it fails? Okay. Or if it recovers, how long it will take to recover? So these are the informations we find out through this testing. What is regression testing? A regression testing is a testing of a product or software after a new fix or change has been added to the product. After a fix or a change has been added, then we have to test the new functionality which was fixed or changed or newly added. Regression testing comes into the picture after we do the testing of the new functionality. We test the overall product to test if the remaining functionality is working fine or not, if the new functionality has impacted other existing functionality or not, to check if there are any new bugs because of the change applied to the application. Okay, so this is regression testing. What is verification and validation? So verification is a kind of testing which determines if the software or product meets the business requirement or specifications. Validation. So validation is a testing which determines if the software or product meets the client's expectation or needs. So we can get more clarity on this question from this question also. Okay, so this question is, what is the difference between the verification and the validation? Okay, so let's see the differences. Verification is the process of determining if the product meets the business requirements or specification. Okay, whereas validation is the process of determining if the product meets client's expectation or need. Okay, the second point is, we test the design, codes, data, front end and back end in the verification. In the validation, we validate the actual product. We test the actual product. Okay. The third point is, this testing is done while the product is under development. The third point over here for validation is, this testing is done after the product is developed. The fourth point is, this testing involves low-level testing such as reviews, inspections and analysis. Whereas in the case of validations, it involves high-level testing such as performance, load, stress testing, as well as black box testing, white box testing, gray box testing, Okay. The fifth point is the verification finds the bugs early, whereas in the case of validation, it finds the bugs which are missed by the verification. Okay. Next point is verification is done before validation. Okay. Whereas in the case of validation, validation is done after the verification. Okay. And the last point is it is tested. The verification is done by software tester or quality assurance analyst. Okay. Whereas the validation is done by client or customer or the UAT team. Okay. So these are the 7 differences between verification and validation. Okay. So that is all in this video. In this video we covered 10 interview questions and answers. These questions are related to manual testing. Thank you for watching this video.